Headlines. Federal Inland Revenue Service Accountant General of the 36 states and other stakeholders agree on prompt tax remittance for economic growth and development. Plus on the news, Ogun State Governor and Minister of Marine and Blue Economy turned south of the Ogun State owned Gateway Inland Dry Port and Dry Port City. From the international scene, King Charles confirmed it is up to the Australian people to decide whether the country remains a constitutional monarchy or becomes a republic. Details of these and more coming your way soon. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now details of the news. The Federal Inland Revenue Service Accountant General of the 36 states and other stakeholders have agreed on prompt and continuous tax remittance for economic growth and development of Nigeria. Speaking at the closing session of the closing section of Stakeholders Forum on Tax Administration in Nigeria, the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zaka Dedeji, described the engagement as fruitful, noting that far-reaching decisions have been agreed on by all stakeholders. While admitting the fact that taxpayers in Nigeria are kings, Adedeji stressed the necessary reforms are being implemented to ease burden on the people, but emphasized the need for compliance across board.
All mandate of Federal Inland Revenue Service is to assess, to collect, and account for all the revenue accruable to Federation, not only to the federal government. An integral part of this federation is subnational, which ably represented here today by the Accountant General of all the states. So we come here to seek their collaboration in mobilizing internal revenue for the development of Nigeria.
Implore the Accountant General of the 36 states to ensure regular remittance of tax as well as compliance with all tax laws operational in the country. Some of the participants at the meeting lauded the initiative of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and promised to comply with all decisions arrived at.
Because all of us are critical stakeholders as far as revenue harnessing is concerned. We in Niger State, as far as tax collection and remittance is concerned, we are 100% compliance because we owe it a duty. Because to me, we need to look at it from three perspectives. If you give contract to somebody, the most important thing is that the project needs to be delivered. And when the project is delivered, the contractor also needs to get something in terms of profit or interest.
Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun and the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboye Tola, have turned the south of Ogun State owned Gateway Inland Dry Port and Dry Port City, located in Iwekoro local government area of the state, at the ceremony in Iwekoro, Ogun Central Senatorial District of the state. The minister said that the inland dry ports will provide faster and more efficient alternatives for moving goods, reduce congestion at port, and set the country on the path of economic growth and development. He, however, assured that the project will be built to international standard and equipped with the latest digital system for tracking, clearance, and cargo movement to ensure efficiency, transparency, and global competitiveness.
Having identified the ideal location, convenient for all manufacturers, contiguous to a rail line, access to two major roads, and availability of natural gas pipeline, the business case for this project was established. We went ahead and acquired this site, which is about 600 hectares in the first phase. Today, history is being made by this groundbreaking of this world-class, state-of-the-art Gateway Inland Dry Port, as remarked by the Minister.
The minister, while commending the state government for the initiative, said that the project is in line with the renewed hope of the federal government, saying that the project is part of the critical component of the broader strategy to position Nigeria as a leading player in the blue economy as the nation continues to diversify its economy.
As we are committed to creating an enabling environment that fosters innovation, economic growth, and infrastructure development. This initiative will undoubtedly help Ogun State become a more attractive destination for businesses and investors, reinforcing our collective aspiration for a prosperous Nigeria.
Diolu Obilaro, who also doubles as the chairman of the Ogun State Traditional Council, commended the state and federal government but was quick to ask for the reconstruction of the Pakwalanto interchange road, which has been in a state of despair for long.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for approving this corridor in Ogun State to serve as a bright spot for the nation. I have no doubt that the renewed hope agenda of the current administration of the president is beginning to take shape, and I want to thank the Honourable Minister for the Blue Economy for joining Our Excellency the Governor, who has deemed it fit to do everything possible to make today a reality. Your Excellency, we appreciate everything. All our real father in Ogun State appreciate all you are doing.
Now to other stories. The Nigerian Navy ship NNS Pathfinder has distributed free education materials to pupils of 3 primary schools in Okpobo and Nkore local government area of Rivers State as part of its Operation Delta Sanity 4 program. The beneficiary schools were Okpobo Primary School, St. Paul Primary School 1 and 2 Abaziebe Model Primary School in Okpobo, Nkoro. Speaking during the presentation of the education materials, Commander of NNS Pathfinder, Commodore Kajitan Aniako, said that the gesture was an initiative of the Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala. Commodore Kajitan, who was represented by Navy Captain Basi, said the Nigerian Navy identified the fact that education is very important to the future of children. He said the target of the project tagged Free Education Rhapsody is to encourage pupils in their educational pursuit.
I have come here today to distribute educational materials as part of the educational rhapsody and outreach. As we know, without education, there will be no development in any community. And that is why we have the Nigerian Navy under Operation Delta Sanity 4 has decided to give out these free educational materials, which include things like notebooks, textbooks, novels, and even sporting items like footballs, because we know that it's not only in the classroom that the pupils will learn, they also require extracurricular activities.
Earlier, the team led by Navy Captain Basi visited the palace of King Jaja of Okpobo, where they met with the Vice Chairman of Okpobo Council of Traditional Rulers and said that the initiative employs both kinetic and non-kinetic approaches. Receiving the naval officers at the Okpobo Palace, Edwin Brown, Vice Chairman of Okpobo Council of Traditional Rulers, who spoke on behalf of the King of Okpobo, thanked the Chief of Naval Staff and the Nigerian Navy for the gesture.
Here to conduct educational rhapsody and free educational outreach to some select schools in Okpobo Kingdom. This is part of the non-kinetic line of operation, or let me say non-kinetic efforts of the Nigerian Navy at reaching out to the people within where our bases are located.
There is a palace, the word they say, catch them young. So it is a very good thing that you are starting with the young ones to make a very good impression in their minds concerning the Navy. And this sensitization, I know, will go a long way to make our young ones think of joining the Navy.
I, the senior prefect, extend our heartfelt gratitude for your generous gift. Your kindness demonstrates the Navy's commitment to supporting education and our community. Thank you for empowering future leaders.
We pray and we are promising them today that the best in us will come out. That whenever they will see us as guild children. That the land of Opobo will bless them wherever they are. That today, this goodwill that they are giving to us will never be forgotten by we and the children.
To sincerely thank the Nigerian Navy for this gesture, for this benevolence they have shown to this kingdom. This is a square peg in the direct road. Most of the material that was sent to our pupils, you see in the school, you have indigent children in the school. And today, by this benevolence, it has cut across the kingdom. It cut across all these primary schools in this kingdom.
The Edo State chapter of the All Progressive Congress have accused the Edo State governor and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the just concluded Edo governorship election, Asu Ighodalo, for allegedly preventing its members from the joint inspection of election materials at the Edo INEC headquarters. The party made this known during a press briefing in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Addressing journalists, the acting chairman of the party, Jared Tenebe, attributes the challenges faced in the joint inspection to what he described as the desperation of the PDP governorship candidate, Asu Ighodalo.
Are constrained to cry out that the People's Democratic Party in the state, along with their agents, have made a tribunal order joint inspection of materials used for September 21st, 2024 governorship election impossible. Sadly, an exercise that would have been seamless has become problematic and dangerous due to the desperation of PDP candidate Asu Ighodalo and Governor Godwin Obaseki as they have continually invaded the venue in INEC.
They call for the arrest of those responsible for the attack on APC members at the INEC headquarters in Benin City and the provision of security.
The All Progressive Congress demand the arrest and prosecution of those that planned and executed the attack on our members yesterday at INEC office. We add also that we are unable to guarantee the APC continuous participation in the inspection exercise in INEC office.
And still with party politics, the People's Democratic Party in Kaduna State has condemned the alleged distortion of the state's local government electoral law by the ruling All Progressive Congress APC to their favor ahead of the forthcoming election. Kaduna State Chairman of the party, Edward Marshall, during a press conference at the Nigerian Union of Journalists Secretariat in Kaduna, explained that the section of the local government electoral law that allows for chairmanship and councillorship result to be announced first at the polling unit and ward collation centers, respectively, were tampered with. Edward Marshall reiterated that local government election is usually the bedrock of any democracy, due to its closeness to the people, hence the need to allow for the wishes and aspirations of the people to thrive, as he charged all Kaduna State House of Assembly members, irrespective of their political affiliation, to be bipartisan and stand for the right thing for the good and progress of the state. The state PDP chairman also called for the impeachment and removal from office of those that have allegedly worked together to change the law ahead of Saturday's election.
Shortly after the press release by the State Assembly denying the statement we made, another law emerged. We will make copies available to you. In this law, it's no longer that result will be announced at the polling unit. Result will no longer be announced at the Ward Collection Center. Result will no longer be announced at the local government collection center. Instead, the chairperson will have the sole right and responsibility to announce all results at the headquarters. Or she may authorize or appoint any person to announce results at any designation of her will.
You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Suspected gunmen killed the councillorship candidate at Yinka Adeleke in the J.D. Jones area of Abeokuta South Local Government area of Ogun State. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. Now to the story teased earlier. Some suspected gunmen on Saturday afternoon killed the councillorship candidate at Yinka Adeleke in the J.D. Jones area of Abeokuta South Local Government area of Ogun State. The victim was said to be All Progressive Congress councillorship candidate for Abeokuta South Local Government Ward 15 in the forthcoming November 16 local government elections. It was learnt from a source privy to the incident that the gunmen attacked Adeleke, shot at him and left him in the pool of his blood. It was discovered that the incident created palpable tension in the area as residents camped for safety. The source said the gunmen killed the All Progressive Congress councillorship candidate for Ibarra Ward 15 at the Yinka Adeleke. The gunmen came in a tinted car, shot him and hit him with stones till he died. There was tension in the area as people were scampering for safety. The deceased was said to have been a transport union worker in the Pansheke area of Abeokuta during his lifetime. As the deadline approaches for 774 local government areas of Nigeria to either have substantive elected executive or bar from receiving allocation from the federal account due to full autonomy, several states, including Anambra, that have not conducted such elections in the last 16 years are equally part of the rush for local government election. Galaxy News correspondent Lepi Joseph has more in this report.
Local government autonomy, defined as a policy space for local democracy, is the freedom of independence in clearly defined issue areas as well as separate legal identity from other levels of government. At the offtake of this law, the 774 local government areas in Nigeria will have the free hand to operate within their respective areas for development of the rural communities.
After the 1996, we have a local government that was functional, that was people-driven and people-centered. That was a center of development. And local government was systematically raped and crippled over time by state political activists and actors because of the fund available to local government, which they are easily attracted to, leading to pilfering and outright stealing of local government funds.
Local government autonomy is going to be of great benefit to the rural populace.
Now the executive chairmen are going to have more money to carry out projects, because what has been happening before is cornering of funds that are meant for the people, for the rural dwellers. But now the funds are coming directly to their pockets, it's coming directly to the accounts of the local government, and we are very, very sure that they are going to make judicious use of it.
The Supreme Court declaration unconstitutional for state governors to hold funds allocated for the local government councils is the current push for local government elections across the country. In the judgment delivered by Justice Emmanuel Hajim, the 7-man panel held that the 777 local government councils in the country should manage their funds themselves.
This is a welcome development. And again, you and I can go to a rural area without going to the mountain to pray. And you'll be relieved. Poverty will be addressed because we have a vocational skill action department in local government that has the capacity, is well equipped to carry out vocational skill training and acquisition and empowerment of women and youth at the rural area. So this will grow the community GDP, which will cumulatively impact positively on national GDP. So the advantages are so numerous. Nigerians should expect drastic changes, and Nigerians are also gradually seeing the enemies of democracy. We now know those who really want democracy as it's supposed to be. I wonder why, if all the governors are enjoying their autonomy at the state level, and they are not ready to let go of the local government executive chairman.
Local government was established to promote economic development, social justice, transport, and solve various problems in rural areas, and autonomy will reduce political interference and urbanization. From Lagos, this is Lebi Joseph reporting for Galaxy TV News.
As Nigerians expect the introduction of fresh and capable hands into the cabinet of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the President has been advised to base the appointment on credibility and competence rather than politics. Not only that, President Tinubu has also been reminded that the task ahead requires the ability of technocrats for rapid socio-economic growth and development of the country. A professor of education management from the National Open University of Nigeria, Abuja, Professor Samuel Ogundiran, made the appeal while speaking with correspondent Kuluju on the state of the nation. Ogundiran maintained that the expectations of most Nigerians have been short-lived in the last 1 year of the Tinubu's administration, saying the president has the opportunity to retune his administration and make it impactful through the appointment of competent ministers.
We often say it, and the honors lie in them to take it or leave it. You cannot politicize everything in life. So you cannot politicize everything. If you want to achieve success in life, as a political head of any organization, state, country, you need to do what? At least focus on using the right people to do the right thing. Not because of this one campaigned for me and he has spent during my campaign, so I have to compensate. You can compensate the person in another area. You can make them board members. You can make them, you give them, there are several areas they can serve that will be useful, and they will get back the difference of what they have contributed to your success in the elections.
The University Dan maintained that all hope is not lost for Nigeria as a country, noting that this depends largely on the ability of President Tinubu to come up with and surround himself with technocrats that knows their worth and ready to hit the ground running.
If you want to make a success, or you want to make an impact, significant impact in life, even if you are given an office to hold, a role to perform, for you to deliver, for you to achieve that goal and deliver satisfactorily to whoever has put you there. So in this case now, it's the electorate that has elected them there. So for the achievement to be felt and to be seen and to be globally, nationally and globally seen, if you want to to achieve and you want to do it, then you have to step on toes and you close your eyes to whoever that will disturb you.
Following the incident of flooding at University of Ibadan UI Hostel, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund (TED Fund) has met the Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Kayode Adebowale, and paid an on-the-spot assessment visit to affected areas. The flood-prone places visited by TED Fund team include Oba Dam UI, Zoological Garden Covert, Department of Forestry, and UI Ajibode Extension Bridge, among others. Record of flooding few days ago affected our hostel, where about 16 rooms in the underground floor of the hostel was said to have been completely submerged, with students' properties destroyed. Speaking during the visit, leader of the delegation, who is a representative of the southwest of the board of TED Fund, Honorable Sunday Adepoju, said TED Fund as an intervention and proactive agency decided to visit the areas, having thought it wise not to wait till disaster happen, adding that the agency can't leave lives of students and institution community in danger. Speaking on behalf of the Vice Chancellor of the institution, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Peter Olakunba, commended TED Fund team for the visitation, describing the news of the flooding as pure sensationalism. He said what happened was just a random occurrence, with the institution has taken steps to avert its recurrence. He, however, appealed to the federal government and TED Fund to consider the institution for special intervention in terms of ecological risk and proper channelization so as to avert future disasters.
What brought us here is as a result of the information we are reading on the pages of newspaper that our hall has been submerged, disaster are waiting to occur, and TED Fund, as an intervention agency, we are very proactive. We thought it wise that we cannot wait till that disaster happened, because we cannot leave the life of the people that are there in danger, both the students and the community at large. That is the purpose of coming to this environment.
We also took the opportunity to show them certain intervention that is needed, that if not done, may actually lead to grave disaster. So they visited quite a number of places. They visited the Oba Dam, of course the Ajibode extension they also visited, and they've seen themselves that look, we need proper channelization if we would avert very serious flooding problem. Of course it's huge. It's not something university on its own can do. We need special intervention, and that's why we are appealing to the federal government and to TED Fund to actually give us a very special intervention in terms of the ecological risk.
International Day of Girl Child's theme for this year is Girls' Vision for the Future. The theme is to listen to girls and invest in proven solutions, accelerating progress towards a future in which every girl fulfills their potential. Hence, the reason the wife of Oyo State Governor Tamunuminemi Makinde has charged girls to envision their dreams to actualization. At the event held at the House of Chiefs Oyo Assembly Complex Secretariat Ibadan, had in attendance selected secondary school students across the state. Mrs. Makinde noted that regardless of social background, every girl child must have confidence and ability of a go-getter in herself. Earlier in our lecture, facilitator from the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Inclusion, Celestina Adedino, called every girl child to set goals and be well educated for dream actualization.
Ensure to avoid every form of distraction in the society, such as social media, drug and substance abuse, peer pressure, etc., that can cause you to lose your dream in life. Always remember that you can achieve extraordinary things now and in the future.
They should set a goal that is attainable, that they need to understand their strengths, their passion, so that to actualize their vision for the future. Just like the team says, girls' vision for the future. So as girls, they need to know this in order to actualize their vision for the future.
Some of the girls who spoke to newsmen after the event expressed their joy and readiness to face the future with renewed hope of studying hard to achieve their future ambitions. They thanked the governor's wife for appreciating the girls who came tops at the last WAEC and SSC examinations across the state.
I'm so delighted to be given this because I wasn't even expecting it at all. And my hard work and my dedication pays off. My advice to them is to dedicate, wherever they are doing, they should dedicate their strength, their effort, because everything pays. I urge you people to work hard, bring out a great version of yourself. Don't stop working because everything has its own reward.
Now to other stories. The Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) has started sale of confiscated 155,157,560 naira worth of petroleum motor spirit at a subsidized rate of 630 naira per litre to the people of Adamawa State. The Customs Controller General Bashir Adewale, who kicked off the exercise at the 2 filling stations in Yola, said the steps was to curb the smuggling activities in the country. According to him, Operation Whirlwind, launched in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor, continues to make strides in curbing the illegal exportation of petroleum products. The Controller General, represented by the Deputy Controller of Customs in charge of reinforcement, inspection and investigation, Olaniyi Olajogun, says Customs would not relent in fighting all forms of smuggling activities across the country.
I am pleased to announce that in this latest phase of Operation Whirlwind, the following seizures have been made. 2 trucks of 33 liters capacity each, filled with PMS intended to be smuggled. 1,046 jerrycans of 25 liters capacity each, filled with PMS, also bound to be smuggled.
It's been said, and will continue to say it, that we will not relent or shy away from our onerous responsibility. Smuggling is evil. Smuggling kills the economy. Smuggling creates disparity.
We gather here today to address a pressing issue that jeopardizes our economic stability, national security, and well-being. We gather smuggling weaken our efforts to promote trade, industry, and economic growth. This is shared duty to tackle this devil.
Marketers, once we caught you diverting that product or making an attempt to divert that product, if we caught you, definitely we are going to penalize you. And this penalty includes seizing of your license. We will seize that license. So please and please, take note of this. Be very vigilant about it. We are going to follow everything.
You're still out of the news on Galaxy TV. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the news continues. We thank you so much for staying with us. Now with the rest of the stories, the Rivers State Police Command says it rescued 16 children comprising 11 girls and 5 boys and not 200 as posted by some online media. The command, in a statement by spokesperson Grace Iringikoko made available to newsmen, said the operatives attached to the Ozoba division acted on credible information which led to the rescue of the 16 children who will be abandoned by their guardians. The legal guardians of the children are said to have been arrested by the Akwa Ibom State Police Command on the previous day for a crime they had committed, leaving the children unattended before a neighbor alerted the police officer as to the situation. The children have been handed over to the Rivers State Ministry of Social Welfare, while the two guardians arrested have been taken to court. However, the police have distanced itself from a social media report that the rescued children were over 200 and it is a clear case of child trafficking. The police described the report as misleading, as it cautions social media users and influencers to desist from negative reports bent on eating up the already heated polity. Lagos State Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Adedotun Keshinro has enumerated the role of Agri Rangers Unit of the command in enhancing food security in communities in Lagos State. Keshinro, who stated this during an event held at the command's headquarters in Ikeja, said all lands must be on deck to ensure adequate supply of food in the country. The State Commandant of NSCDC, Keshinro Adedotu, represented by Second-in-Command Deputy Commandant of Corps Eunice Agbola, said the various arrests, mediations and operations that the command is carried out across various places such as abattoirs, farmlands and other identified communities is to ensure affordable food supply to the people. Discussing at the clinic emphasized on the need for farmers association, security agencies, experts within and outside the sector to come together and formulate effective and practical method of global practice capable of enhancing food security in the country. The event was christened Enhancing Food Security in Nigeria, the role of government, stakeholders and law enforcement agencies, contributions of Agri Rangers units to the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Lagos State.
Food security is the availability of accessibility of food of adequate quantity and quality, to every household in Nigeria. A country is food secure when the majority of its population has access to food of adequate quality and quantity.
So the external role, the internal role, because sometimes when the internal is not good, the internal is not going to be good. So most of the officers here. So what I think is that you need to care about your personnel. You need to care about your personnel, the lower enlisted. They are the one on the field. So caring about them is important.
Looking at your numbers, especially in Lagos, the type of equipment you have, this initiative is still in the proof of concept stage. This means that you need a lot more equipment. I realize you need a lot more equipment, not only vehicles, but technology that will make your operations efficient.
An oil tanker with registration number unknown laden to capacity with 45,000 liters of PMS was involved in an accident and spilled petroleum products in the tanker on the road at Ojuelegba opposite Abati Barracks Inwood Stadium. Investigations revealed that an articulated truck collided with the oil tanker while reversing, which resulted in the puncture of the tank on its side, thereby resulting in a leakage of its contents. Lagos State Emergency Management Agency LASEMA activated its response team from Onipan Vehicular Movement was diverted to minimize the risk of secondary incident, while spilled content were blanketed with foaming chemicals to reduce volatility and its capacity to explode. The damaged oil tanker has been towed to Ipori police station to clear the road for free movement of vehicles. And still on security, the Delta State Police Command has arrested a man in his 20s for allegedly stabbing a girl after a sex romp in Agbo, Ika South local government area of Delta State. The man, simply identified as Daniel, was alleged to have stabbed the sex worker in a brothel, Apple Inn, on Friday night along the ever-busy Benin-Asaba Expressway after an altercation over his refusal to pay the agreed fee. Sources said the suspect, a regular customer at the brothel, has hinged his refusal to pay the agreed fee on the claim that the sex worker denied him ejaculation during the third round of the sex romp. While the sex worker was insisting that he must pay the complete amount as agreed, stressing that he was hard on her, the suspect picked a knife possibly from the sex worker's kitchen, stabbed her, and dragged the knife downward, a source said. The man was arrested by police after a distress call by some residents. The sources added that the victim, whose identity could not be ascertained as at the time of filing this report, was in a critical condition when she was rushed to the hospital for medical attention. As Nigeria joins a counterpart to celebrate International Day of Girl Child, a group Treasured Point of Light Foundation has embarked on an advocacy outreach at Jalipapa village in rural Ogun community in Ogun State, sensitizing women on oral health, child marriage and menstrual hygiene. Management, among others, took center stage as the group engaged in a door-to-door campaign. Speaking to newsmen, the group's president said rural girls and women are often marginalized when it's become imperative to bring them to speed on how best they can live healthy lives, irrespective of the current economic situation. She noted that access to proper menstrual products is often limited in rural areas, and many girls resort to using unsafe alternatives, leading to health complications such as infections and infertility.
You can see the community where we are. They don't have access to basic social amenities really. And when we came to do a survey, many of them use rags, old fabrics for their monthly periods. And really it is not hygienic. We know it, but they don't have choices. All they have is what is available to them. So we have come to extend a hand of fellowship to them by bringing sanitary pads. At least we're giving each person at least 4 to 6 sanitary pads to last them for a while.
The group also distributed sanitary pads to 700 children in Ogun State. The president emphasized that societal and cultural barriers continue to hold girls back, stressing the need to have a shift in mindset and for government to put in place enabling laws that protect girl child.
If you know the harm, attached to marrying off a child, and even the intricacies, you would stop it. And also, if the government puts policies in place for defaulters that do such, when there are laws governing, child marriage practices, and you know that if you do it, then definitely you will desist from doing it.
And still on that, government at all levels have been urged to make sanitary pads freely available to girls, stressing that menstrual hygiene is a fundamental right. In commemoration of the International Day of the Girl Child, a group, the Rotary Club of Abeokuta Royal, in collaboration with the Ogun State government, organized a special event at Idiaba, Abeokuta, where they distributed 500 sanitary pads to students and inaugurated the Schools Interact Club. Speaker after speaker said the event was aimed to empower young girls by addressing menstrual hygiene, providing leadership development opportunities, and advocating for equal rights for girls. They also lamented the skyrocketing cost of sanitary pads, which has increased from 180 naira to 2,000 naira, making it difficult for many girls to afford them.
Government needs to do things that have to do with the Girl Child Initiative, that have to protect the girl child, that have to give the girl child a voice and don't limit her voice. When our government enforce this, I believe it will get to the home front where the parents will also want to do the same thing. So we need our government to do more collaboration, more innovative and projects that have to do with the girl child.
I tell you, while we were growing up, I think pad is just 180 naira. But as we speak now, a pad is 2,000 naira. And we think it's really affecting us. A lady must, or a girl must smell good. A lady must take good care of herself. With all of these things, the economy is not even helping at all. So we come out as a Rotarian to help encourage these girls, because we are in a girls' school, and tell them no matter how the economy is, a lady must stand demure.
Education-wise, the government is also trying to make sure that they expose girl child to vocational skills, because we have come to a stage in this country where everybody must take up a skill, and as such the government is giving scholarship to 1,000 girls on vocational skills, and after that we can always review it year in year out.
Now we move to the international desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. King Charles has confirmed that it is up to the Australian people to decide whether the country remains a constitutional monarchy or becomes a republic. Ahead of the King's visit to Australia next week, the Australian Republic movement extended letters with Buckingham Palace officials, writing on the King's behalf. Correspondence from the palace, reviewed by the Daily Mail, says that whether Australia becomes a republic is a matter for the Australian public to decide. The future of the monarch in Australia is likely to be an issue during the royal visit by King Charles and Queen Camilla, which includes events in Sydney and Canberra. The letter sent by palace officials restates the existing position rather than marking any new change in policy, and Buckingham Palace is not saying anything further to the letter's contests. But it is an amicable exchange following a request by the group campaigning for a republic to have a meeting with the king during his visit. A woman has died after she went overboard from a cruise ship near the Channel Islands, so rescue services. An alert was sent out at about 2 a.m. local time for a search for the woman in her 20s north of Les Casquettes Rocks west of Alderney. The French Search and Rescue Service said the casualty from the MSC Virtuosa was wished from the sea by a helicopter crew and was later pronounced dead by doctors. An investigation is underway into the death by UK and French police, the service said. A plane from Channel Islands Air Search was sent to the scene from Guernsey, along with lifeboat crew from Alderney and France and the French helicopter crew based near Cherbourg. The Maltese flag cruise ship is 331 meter long and 43 meter wide, according to Marine Traffic. It is currently berthed at Southampton's dock, having arrived at about 8 a.m. from Cartagena port in Spain. The owners of the ship have been approached for comment. 4 men have been arrested after cannabis with an estimated street value of 8.5 million euros was seized by Gadai following a search of business premises in Dubai. Shortly after 3 p.m. local time, Gadai intercepted 2 vehicles and carried out a planned search in Ballymount area of Tagat, where they found 429 kilograms of the drug. 4 men aged 31, 45, 52 and 58 were arrested for facilitating and enhancing a criminal organization to commit drug trafficking offences. They are being held at Gadai Station in the Dublin area. Assistant Commissioner Justin Kelly said this operation is another example of their commitment to target the enablers and facilitators of global drug trafficking networks and the ongoing effort to make Ireland a difficult environment for them to operate in. The seizure forms part of Operation Tara, an enhanced national anti-drugs strategy. Still on the international scene, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has called for the death penalty for migrants who kill United States citizens or members of law enforcement as part of an incendiary rally in Aurora, Colorado. In his Friday night speech, Trump, a former president, repeated false and misleading claims about immigrants in the U.S., leaning into nativist sentiment as he campaigns for his second term. Trump also laid out a stark vision of his first days in office if re-elected, with policy proposal hinged on mass deportation. Trump has repeatedly sought to demonize migrants in the run-up to the vote, pointing to an increase in southern border crossing under the administration of President Joe Biden, a Democrat. But critics have drawn parallel between Trump's inflammatory rhetoric and the language used historically by white supremacist movements. The United States Justice Department has sued Virginia for removing voters from registration rolls too close to the presidential election on November 5. The lawsuit filed on Friday comes in close to an executive order issued in August by Virginia's Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. It initiated the removal of individuals from voter registration rolls if officials are unable to verify their citizens through the State's Department of Motor Vehicles. But the Justice Department says the executive order was issued with too little time before Election Day, violating a 90-day quiet period outlined in the National Voter Registration Act. The period requires official systematic removal of at least 3 months ahead of a federal vote. Yankin had issued his order on August 7, which marked 90 days until the election. In a statement on Friday, the governor urged the executive order fell within the law. He pledged state authorities will defend these common-sense steps with every resource available. Lastly, on the international scene, the government of Nicaragua has announced that it will break diplomatic relations with Israel, adding to the country's growing isolation on the global stage amid its war in Gaza. Nicaraguan Vice President Rosario Murillo announced the move to state media after Congress passed a resolution calling for action following the one-year anniversary of the Gaza war on October 7. Murillo, who is President Daniel Ortega's wife, said her husband instructed the government to sever diplomatic relations with the fascist and genocidal government of Israel. The announcement is largely a symbolic one, since Israel does not have a resident ambassador in the Nicaraguan capital, Managua, and relations between the two nations are nearly non-existent. Still, the announcement comes at a time when Israel is under growing diplomatic scrutiny amid a brutal campaign in Gaza and expanding attacks across the Middle East, including in Lebanon. And that's it from the international scene.
Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. And that's all we have for you. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Iriba Misalako. Do have a great weekend.